Hey everybody, want to check in with an insight that popped up the other day and some stuff that we're going through with my daughter, with Paige. And this conversation actually came up in a coaching call with a client recently too. But it's a good little insight and it's a fun little, I don't know, practice of belief ahead of time that we're getting to play with here at the house because Paige is trying out for the volleyball team at her high school. And she came home the other day very disappointed, saying like, "I'm terrible at volleyball. There's no point in me trying out." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Paige, why are you saying that? Like, what's going on?" And she said that she had heard that the coach already decided who was on the team, and it wasn't her. And this is, of course, just middle school drama, and it's easy to dismiss at that. But the reality is, we've all sort of jumped into the drama phase, probably more recently than we'd like to admit, definitely more recently than middle school. So I feel like it was applicable. So I started thinking it through, and I'm like, oh man, that's frustrating that someone told her that is really like kind of deflating her confidence and stealing her belief ahead of time. But I know it's not true. It's not fact, right? So here's something that's not a fact. That is a belief that she's holding on to that's affecting her mood, at least in that moment. I mean, not to say she wouldn't shake it off before the tryout. But it occurred to me, and I was like, actually, Paige, I have better news than that. I talked to the coach already, and she said, "You're so good at volleyball, and that you work so hard at your school that you don't even have to go to the tryout. You already made the team." She's like, "What?" And I was like, but she wants you, she needs you to attend the tryout just so the other girls can see what it looks like to really work hard at a tryout. You know, just be an example. And she's like kind of like rolling her eyes and laughing a little bit. And she knows it's not fact what we're talking about, but she likes the idea of the belief. So she plays along and she's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I like that. That feels better." And I was like, just out of curiosity, uh, even though I had this conversation with your coach, what do you think would happen if you showed up at the tryout and you just kind of blew it off and you were just like a little bit rude and didn't take things seriously and didn't try very hard? And she's like, "Oh, I'd probably get cut." And I was like, "Yeah, I think so too." That even though your coach already told me that you're on the team, that if you were to go there and not really show up well, not show up strong, there's a chance you'd get cut anyway. And so now here are two kind of possible stories she gets to choose from. One is that she's already not on the team, one that she already is on the team. But notice neither one of them are actually facts or really going to be like a prediction of the future in terms of the outcome. They're both just thoughts to practice in terms of how she's going to show up. So the question I have for you is that if it was your daughter, if it was your kid that was trying out, which belief would you want your kid to have? Would you want your kid to walk into the gym with the belief that it's too late, they have no chance of making the team, or would you want them to walk in with the belief that yeah, they're really just there to be an example, they're already on because they're so good? Keeping in mind that as parents, we don't really care that much if the kid actually makes the team or doesn't make the team. It's not the result that we're interested in. It's just that we love them so much and we know how valuable it is to be able to show up well in big moments, to be able to practice that skill. And we just really want our kids to show up well in big moments. But here's the thing. This isn't just available to our kids. It's available to us. We can do this. And we all have our own version of a volleyball tryout coming up in our life. And we all have our own version of middle school girls messing with our minds about our beliefs, most of it coming from our own minds. And so it's just simply a chance to take this situation that's kind of easy to see how we'd like it to go and where we'd like Paige's head to be or your kid's head to be, if you want to look at it that way, and just say, you know what, that's true for myself too. And really all I want for Paige is for her to believe ahead of time that she's going to be successful, not to predict the future, not to change the outcome, but just to show up big in that moment. And so that's my takeaway for today. That is the purpose of believing big. You guys all have goals that are coming up on a 6-month time frame, and it is important that you believe ahead of time so that you can show up big in the process and see who you become because of the way you show up. That's it. Talk to you guys later.